faithful, and welcome to the GameCola Podcast. This is podcast number 117, and I am your host and podcast commander, Joseph Martin. Before we get started today and everyone introduces themselves, I just want to let you know that my main microphone audio got corrupted during this podcast, but luckily I had a backup, so you're going to hear a slightly lower quality version of my voice throughout this podcast. But in spite of that, with me today we have...
I'm Diana Gray, GameCola.net's resident fangirl and a rather lazy editor, and I'm returning to the podcast after a really long time away.
Hi, I'm Colee. I write articles sometimes.
I'm John. I create cold cut reviews on GameCola's YouTube channel.
Yeah, one of those came out recently. Well, I guess it was a cold cut. Does that fall under, the top 10s fall, is that a subset of cold cut reviews?
Yes, it is. I put it under the same playlist.
Because, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's one of the things that John made. So, yeah, you should go check out the second set of the top 20 soundtracks, so entries 10 through 1. You should go check that out on the YouTube channel, GCDotNet.
Only if you have exactly 19 minutes and 2 seconds to spare in your time.
Well, you could have more than that.
Yeah, but I like to cut things close.
Okay. So, we are here today to talk to you first about Nintendo Labo. And then later in the podcast, we are going to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in penance for sort of making fun of it last time without Diana on the podcast. And then, to wrap things up, we'll answer a question I missed from Patrick Humphrey's previous email last time. When we read through, his 6 questions, I missed one.
How could you?
So we'll do that.
Yeah, how
and
dare you.
We'll talk about the games we've been playing. So there's our little roadmap for the podcast. So let's start with Nintendo Labo, which, if you do not know, I will tell you the things that I know about Nintendo Labo from looking at their website and writing it down onto a Google document. So,
Copy and paste.
Nintendo Labo is a product that is launching April 20th. They announced it a week ago-ish, I think.
420.
That's when it's coming out.
Oh, yeah, yes. It's coming out on 420, yes.
Get your
number
stuff.
with no alternate significance.
Not to devalue this podcast and make it crude.
It's basically this. It comes with a game, and it comes with these sheets of perforated cardboard that you can bend and craft into these different things. The sort of catch-all package, the one that has a bunch of things in it, has 2 RC cars, a piano, a fishing pole, a motorcycle. I think it's just handlebars, not literally just a functioning motorcycle.
A motorcycle.
Wow. And a house, which is the weirdest one to me.
Can I live in that?
What are you gonna do with that?
Live in it.
So the idea is that you can put your Switch, once you build this cardboard stuff up, you can put your Switch controllers into certain parts of it and the Switch screen, and it will you can play games with it. So you can do the fishing pole and play a fishing game. You can do the piano and the motions, the Switch controllers, the Joy-Cons have a little sensor that can tell how far something is in front of them. And so based on which piano key you hit, it'll raise a piece of cardboard that'll block it, and the Switch will be oh, they played an F. I'm gonna play an F out of the speakers of the Switch. I do not know how they're gonna use the house. There's a video.
That's the most intriguing to me.
That's the important
part. Literally the only thing they do with the house is they just stick a Joy-Con in it, and then they just cut to another thing, and it's what? What is the purpose?
Maybe they haven't decided yet.
The house isn't for the Joy-Cons, it's for us.
Maybe it generates a me character inside a virtual house, and it uses its HD rumble to move itself around.
They're making up for shutting down Miitomo.
Aww.
Miiverse,
did they
that's
finally?
what it was.
Oh,
Did
never
they?
mind.
That's what it was, not Miitomo.
Yeah.
I don't know if actually that's still up, but yeah, Miiverse is dead.
Along with Miitomo's audience.
So there was a lot of criticism when this was announced. I mean, we know Brancliff didn't like it. He's not on the podcast today, but he didn't like the idea of it.
I just have a lot of questions that I don't think will be answered until it's actually released, which is obviously not conducive for me buying it.
That's more of a Nintendo thing.
Kind of reminds me of what they did for the Wii U. It's they kind of showed you, hey, this is what our product is, but they don't really tell you much more about it than look at it, splendor, it's amazing. But then it's okay, that's nice, but tell me a little bit more. What can I exactly do with it? So I feel like it's kind of like that with marketing.
Which is interesting because their marketing for the Switch was extremely explicit. It was absolutely clear on
Oh,
what
yeah.
it was.
Exactly.
So
Is this
if
a step back for marketing, would you
Yeah,
say?
for the marketing department, maybe.
I feel like marketing, step back, like, I think Nintendo marketing is always in kind of a stumble, though. Like,
the thing is, though, that since their marketing has been so good with the Switch, I feel like this is just a teaser before they unveil new stuff. Or, like, or more
Well,
specific things that you can do
They
with it.
have like 3 months to do that, so they do have quite a bit of time.
yeah, and there are some more, if you, dear listener, have only seen the video trailer for Nintendo Labo, or have only just heard about it, there's some more details that are announced, like specific, so there's 2 products that you can pre-purchase right now. One is the, like, multi-kit, I forget exactly what it's called. There's the variety kit, and then there's the robot kit.
I was
The
gonna say,
variety
one of them
kit
is the robot one.
$70. Yeah, the robot one is $80.
Ooh.
The variety kit has all the things that I mentioned, but then the robot kit is like just its own separate thing, but it's like an entire robot suit of cardboard, which is apparently this is what people are thinking are like a repurposed game that was like teased about, like a giant robot that Nintendo had in the works.
They did. It was literally named Project Giant Robot, and they showed it off at E3. I think it was for the Wii U but I think they moved it to the Switch. But it was literally just you control a giant robot and smash a city.
So now instead of just controlling a giant robot and smashing a city, you are a giant robot and you smash a city.
Aw, man.
But it is $80, which a lot of people are complaining about the price. It's like $70 or $80 for cardboard.
I have an
but it also
explanation
comes
for
with
that.
software. It comes with software.
Exactly.
Okay, that was my question. I didn't know if
Okay.
it came with the game or not.
Yeah, it comes with the game.
$60
If it didn't,
game.
that would be a total ripoff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, if it was literally $70 for cardboard, that would not be good, and I would not be defending it.
And I was gonna say, I'd probably get a better value just buying stuff off of Amazon and then using the boxes that the product comes in.
Exactly,
to just
yeah. Make my own robot suit out of
Right.
cardboard. I don't need a template. I can do it myself.
It's called a cardboard cutter, some glue, a ruler maybe, if you're bad with lines and measurements.
I mean, that is sort of something I'm interested to hear about with this, is like, can people sort of like MacGyver their own like stuff?
Yeah, what if I make my own? Would that work?
And I wonder if that's the point.
I think that's the point because I saw another video on this recently where a kid would normally use the cardboard, and as the cardboard would later decompose and as they customize it and whatnot over time, someone like maybe older or who's more creative and more resourceful could probably 3D print the cardboard parts and just have them there permanently.
That's an option.
Yeah.
That adds another layer of customization to it, which is why I'm really for this decision. Because this is so obviously marketed as a kid's toy in the first place. But so were the Wii's motion controls. And those caught on with other competitors really quickly with the PlayStation Move and the Kinect and whatnot. They're trying to one-up them. And I'm interested to see how successful this would be initially. Because I would love to see, like, Sony's version of like build it yourself games, or like Microsoft's, I don't know, build a virtual world or build something, because Nintendo did with the Toys to Life thing. Well, technically that was Skylanders, but Nintendo practically perfected it, and now we don't have any more Skylanders or Disney Infinity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We have Amiibo.
Amiibo,
Yeah.
still going strong.
You're describing Xbox and Sony's, Microsoft and Sony. I'm just imagining like a regular PS4 controller just like stuck in a piece of cardboard, and it's like, look, we did it. We're also cardboard. Buy our thing.
A controller just made out of cardboard.
No,
Yeah,
but why stop there?
It doesn't even work.
Get a system made of cardboard.
See, that is the literal response, but I'm thinking like, what if we have a controller like Transformer? Like we bring those back. Those can be a type a new idea that they could come up with.
See, here's my question. Why cardboard? Of all things that they could have chosen.
They actually show that in the trailer, so you can customize it, because you can literally draw on it, do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like the piano ones that they show off, they colored it with like magic marker or whatnot. Has like different numbers. They write the names of the notes on it, etc., etc.
But does it come with multiple things? Because, for
Yeah.
example, if you wanted to do just the piano and you do color it, what if you want to use it as something else? Is it stuck with that color on it, or is it more than that?
Each piece of cardboard is a different thing. It's not like one amazing piece of cardboard that can just be turned into all these different things.
Oh.
That's good to know. But
I might pay $70 for a piece of cardboard that could turn into a piano and a motorcycle just by a couple folds.
That's what I was wondering though, because did they specifically say that? Because I don't remember if they did.
Yeah, on the website it says you get 28 sheets of
But
cardboard.
Did they say that on the announcement thing when they had their trailer and video, blah blah blah?
I mean, you can see the different colors. You can see that each one is designated for a different thing. Also, 28 pieces. There's no way that tiny little house is made up of 28 pieces of cardboard.
It's obviously made of one, right?
Yes.
You only need one piece of cardboard to build a house, right?
Yeah. I think it's half. I think the one that has the house on it is the top one on their image display, and it's not even half the sheet. Also, one of the sheets is an extra one. I will say that the robot one is kind of pricey, just because you're getting less cardboard, which I mean that seems a little weird. It's I'm not getting as much cardboard. I am disappointed.
For my $80.
Robot. Who cares about the other
robot,
piece of cardboard? You can be a robot.
I cannot wait for this to come out so that all the streamers will jump on this. I cannot wait.
I want to see someone play Overwatch using only a piano.
Let's do it.
Those are some of my favorite things where it's I'm going to play Hanzo, the archer, using only a Nerf bow and arrow. Oh yeah? I'm going to use Symmetra, the character that shoots a laser beam out of her thing that heats up and burns characters to death. I'm gonna play her using only a microwave. And pressing the buttons on a microwave to do it.
That somehow actually fires lasers.
I'm gonna play this really musically inclined character using a piano, but a cardboard piano from Nintendo.
Don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo, and I'm very interested to see where this goes. I am. But here's my qualm. It's obviously marketed for children, young children. And young children tend to break things. So
that's why it's cardboard. It's easily replaceable.
But then you're just going to have to buy more cardboard, and it's going to have to be the special cardboard, obviously, from Nintendo.
No.
Or it's not going to work, so you're going to spend $70 more on the whole thing.
I doubt that. Well, first off, it doesn't look like with the cardboard that Nintendo's giving out, it's just regular ass flimsy cardboard. It looks.
I don't know, man. They haven't said it's not.
Nintendo brand cardboard.
Judging from the trailer, it looks like to be corrugated cardboard, which is more sturdy and lasts a longer time. But that could just be a trailer thing where they do the whole fast food thing where they just make the food looks appealing as possible.
Looks super good.
And then when they get it, you're like, shit. But so. It could be that, or it could just be corrugated cardboard, which is a little more expensive, but it will last a lot longer. And obviously, a kid, no matter what they're gonna do, maybe even the parents helping them, they're gonna break it. But that's why it's cardboard; it's easily replaceable. And someone's gonna put the folding template on the internet anyway.
So definitely the magic of the internet.
What's gonna stop parents from buying a pre-owned copy of the game and then buying their own cardboard for a much cheaper price and just downloading the template and helping them build it with the kids together?
Although, to be honest, Nintendo is pretty strict about that stuff. They might nail people who try and do that.
The internet finds a way.
Oh, it does.
Diana, you were mentioning why cardboard. And I think part of it too is that even though it'll bend really easily, it's pretty. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to tear cardboard. My family moved recently, and so we had to break, we had these boxes, and what you had to do to open the empty ones was sort of break this cardboard connection at the top and sort of snap it off. And it was this tiny little thing. It was pretty hard to break that. It's actually pretty hard to tear cardboard.
I mean, okay, yes, I know it's not like paper. I know it's harder to rip than paper or something.
So I think. And it looks like most of the stuff in there, will still function even if stuff gets dented up. So I think part of that will work too. Also, I think it just drives the cost down. I mean, imagine how expensive this would be if this was all just like a million pieces of plastic.
But then you wouldn't have to buy replacements when they get broken.
Imagine all the trees that we kill.
We're still killing trees for cardboard!
Yeah, but you can recycle cardboard.
Plastic can also break pretty
That's
easily.
true. That's true.
A lot of the stuff, even from Nintendo, the plastic stuff that I've gotten has broken over the years.
I mean,
So
don't get me wrong, I'm not totally against this idea. I just have a lot of questions that are not going to be answered until I see people actually playing with this thing. And then, I mean, I probably still won't get it because it's expensive and I'm poor. But, I mean, I look forward to seeing what people can do with it. That's for sure. And also, I really like that it's, like, you know, since video games have come out, I feel like people haven't been as creative anymore.
ever since video games.
I mean, with this generation in particular, because video games are so easily accessible, like, as soon as you can, like, literally hold an iPad. So, like, having something creative and something that kids can, like, make and color on that isn't entirely electronic might be good. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being old, but...
No, I'm with you on that.
Another thing I've noticed too is that like one of the things is like, well, wait, if this is for young kids, like young kids aren't necessarily good at things, and putting together a cardboard thing might be kind of tricky. Well, like one of the things I noticed is that in the software they say that like the software comes with instructions, like
Oh, good.
in-game instructions. Like it'll go through like step by step, and you like press a button to say, okay, I'm ready for the next step.
Maybe it's
And I feel
family
like
activity.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that'd be a nice family activity, though.
Yeah,
Like,
putting
even if the
together
kid's
things.
having, like, trouble, like, hey, mom, can you help me, like, build this? Can you build this with me? It's like, yeah, sure. That's a nice family activity to do.
And the nice thing about that is that you don't have to be able to read to do it.
That's true.
You don't have to like manage a video because I mean, I'm sure we all have had the experience of like when you're trying to watch a tutorial on YouTube and the person is going like way faster
Yes.
than you can keep up with, and you're like, please stop.
And then you have to
Wait,
pause
I'm
it.
not there. And you have to like keep pausing and like going back. But like this would be like it's very much like step by step, and you can pace it however you're going. I think that's actually an interesting way of like, yeah, make it like a video game where building it is the video game. It's probably not the whole video game. You can see little clips of like the games that you can.
An $80 instruction video.
I think a lot of it will come down to how good the software is on a scale of 1-2 Switch to Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I definitely
Switch
agree.
being the bad and
Yeah,
Nintendo
yes.
Land being the good.
I gathered.
This Nintendo Land, it might be worth it. Nintendo Land is great.
I love Nintendo
Yeah,
Land.
It is really fun.
Yeah, it's probably one of
Animal
the best
Crossing game
like
is my
tech
life.
demo games.
Switch Animal Crossing game when?
I spent like maybe 3 hours on that damn Donkey Kong stage. God damn.
Oh man,
Ugh.
the good old days.
So yeah, that's what we think about Nintendo
Yeah.
Labo, I guess. Make a judgment. Tell us what you think about it. Do you think Nintendo Labo is the most stupid piece of cardboard in the existence of cardboard? Let us know by talking to us about it.
Email us.
Yeah,
Please.
say you're wrong. Cardboard's dumb and will always be dumb.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
actually, I just realized that you cannot like Nintendo Labo. I'm not saying that makes it sound like I'm making everyone who doesn't like it sound childish.
You must like it.
It's we happened to, if Brand Club had been on, there probably would have been a little bit more back and forth. But hopefully you have enough information to make an educated decision on whether you are too old to purchase Nintendo Labo.
Idea. Can I make a cardboard Pokeball and actually throw it?
Probably.
Can you actually catch anything?
Yeah, you could throw it, yes.
Will it
I
do
don't
anything?
understand.
Debatable.
How poorly would you have to construct a ball that you could not throw it?
It might be too heavy.
If it just
you-
falls
It's
apart.
cardboard, though.
If it wasn't
He
out
said
of
out of
cardboard.
cardboard.
Also,
Nintendo brand.
I don't think I'll be buying the robot one because I feel like it won't fit me, and I would just be really disappointed.
I'll probably say like fold to your size or whatnot.
Unless it's one size
I'll be-
fits all.
I don't think it can be one size fits all.
I don't think so either.
One robot fits all.
Oh God, I'm seeing
I
the Let's
really
Plays
can't.
now.
I hope streamers like go whole ham and like try and put it on.
And
I hope so.
I hope one of them puts on like a Godzilla costume or something instead, just while holding the
I'm looking forward to
Put
it.
the Joy-Cons.
So the other thing we wanted to talk about this podcast, because we kind of just made fun of it a lot last podcast, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the video
Yay.
game that Diana likes.
I do.
Or the sequel to the video game that Diana likes, at least.
I also like this video game too.
I would say, but she likes this one too.
It's a fair statement.
Technically, it's the second sequel.
Well, but it's the
We don't
sequel
talk
to the
about
video
X.
game that she liked.
Was X bad?
I don't think it was bad. I think it just wasn't what people wanted. I never played it because I didn't have a Wii U. But I think it just wasn't exactly what people wanted, and this is more of a true spiritual successor to the first one.
I don't think it's a spiritual successor. I think it's an actual successor.
I mean, yes. It's not, well, okay. Clarification point. Have not gotten to the end of the game yet, and I hear that the last chapter is where the Xenoblade 1 references start coming on real strong, and I've already seen a couple that I'm just like, oh, it's so good. But, I don't know to what extent this is actually related yet. So I'm assuming that it's going to be like pretty heavily related, but I don't know exactly what's going on. I have my theories, but I love it a lot, you guys. It's really good, and I'm really mad that you guys don't like it and were mean about it when I wasn't here. That was super rude. I didn't even listen to the last podcast because I knew they were going to be mean about it.
Well, Nasa told you that we might accidentally spoil things for you if you came on. That was the main thing.
Yeah, I didn't
Also,
want to. That's why I didn't
mad
come
at
on, because I didn't want anything to be spoiled. I was still playing it, and I am still playing it because I avoid the plot like my life depends on it.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. In the game, you also avoid the plot?
Yes, I do, because I don't want it to end.
It's like, hey, we need you to save the world. No. If I save the world, it'll actually contribute to the world ending.
Yeah, I'm busy doing side quests. Leave me alone.
So the reason, part of the reasoning I guess I had before that was when Xenoblade 2 came out, I just like only heard negative things about it, which is strange because it seems like it's not that different than the original Xenoblade.
Admittedly, I stayed away from most of the news when it came out because I knew that I was getting it for Christmas, and I wanted to keep it extremely completely blind for myself, so I don't even know what the criticism was about specifically. Do you remember, or?
Yeah, I can give you, I actually have prepared a couple questions for you.
Oh, of course. All right. I
want to point out.
I'm ready.
Only these are.
Grill me.
I mean, some of these are kind of my questions, but also they're informed by clips of people who have played the game. I have not played the game. I have not seen a playthrough. I don't mean to suggest that these are like as legitimate opinions as someone who's actually played the game. And I'm also going to make them sound extra critical for comedic effect.
Sure, I expected it.
So just be aware, audience, that I'm not as mean about Xenoblade 2 as I'm about to sound. Okay. Question number 1.
Okay.
What the heck is up with all the women being swords?
Okay, listen. Honestly, that is something I am extremely salty about. But
salty in which direction? Salty of it as a criticism, or salty because, like, salty at the developers for doing it?
No, salty at the developers for doing this. Like, okay. Can we get into spoiler territory here for a minute?
Yeah, if you want to listen to us rag on Xenoblade without spoilers, go listen to podcast 116, the last one.
Okay, I'm going to spoil some stuff
this sort of thing
because there's something extremely related to that point you just made that
Go for it.
Really upset about. So, you spend most of the game, obviously you play as the main guy, and then you have your party members, and one of your party members is this really badass chick. Her name is Nia. She's like actually my favorite character. I love her to pieces. And she's not a sword. She's not a sword. She is
one of the few women who isn't.
But wait,
in fact, a sword.
She's a driver, which is the people that own the swords and like do the fighting. The swords are called blades. So about halfway through the game, you start to realize that something's up, and she's not super normal. And then it's revealed that plot twist, she actually is a sword. Do you know how disappointed I was when that happened?
The one woman in the game that wasn't a sword.
She was one of the only ones, besides Morag, not in a super skimpy outfit, and I loved her for it. And then suddenly she just, boom, whips out hey, in fact, I'm a blade, I have a super skimpy outfit, like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, Nia, put your clothes back on. Like, we're not doing this. And so I never use her as a blade. Also, it's a problematic because she's your only healer. So you can't use her as a blade because you need a healer in your party. Yes, your blades can heal you somewhat, but you need, in my opinion, to get through the game, at least for me, I need a dedicated healer. And she's the only one I got. So she's never going to be a blade for me. Always a driver, Nia. It's rough.
Okay. Follow-up question.
Sure.
So we have concluded that all women are swords in Xenoblade.
Almost.
2.
Morag is actually a girl, and she's not a sword.
You
So
think?
all women are swords.
You think you know a girl?
Reverse question: are all swords women?
No.
Okay, because I'd only ever seen the blades, quote unquote.
No. There are blades.
I'd only ever seen.
There
women,
are also
but that could have just been a marketing thing.
dogs. Or something. It's like a wolf dog.
You're
thing.
not sure?
Like, you can't really. They don't have like real faces. The generic ones. So you can't really tell what kind of. They kind of look like wolves, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna go with wolves. It's probably the closest.
I have so many questions.
Just
So
look
wait.
it up. They're online. They're actually kind of cool. I like the dog.
Is it a blade like an actual person that also does weapon things, or is
Yes.
a blade just like a weapon, like a sword that learns to talk?
No, it is an actual person that a driver bonds with using a crystal, and then they pop out, and they can have a bunch of different weapons. Actually, you can have like
What
a
do you
spear.
mean pop out?
Yeah,
People
they just kind of
don't
show up.
normally pop out. I don't understand
They just kind
what
of
that
show
means.
up from the crystal. Like there's like a suit. Okay, so there's a special menu in the game that you go to, and it's like Bond Blade, and so you're like, all right, let's do it, and then one of your characters shows up and they hold a blue crystal in their hands, and you're like, all right, go for it, man, and they do it, and then a blade just shows up, and you're just like, all right, welcome to my party. Like you're okay, but you're not what I wanted because you're not a rare blade. Get out of here.
Magic.
But yeah, they can have a bunch of different weapons. So they can have like spears or katanas or a ball weapon, which is actually kind of badass. Like I do like the ball weapons; they're fun. And
Is
like,
it John's ultra dense unthrowable cardboard ball?
Hell
no,
yeah.
they're better than that.
Hell yeah, coming back into play.
Yeah, and also Knuckles and all the animal ones have like twin rings, and they're pretty good at healing.
Not the echidna.
Knuckles
No,
Chaos.
not Knuckles the Echidna. Although I wish that would be fun.
Xenoblade 2 and Knuckles.
And Knuckles. So yeah, that's how you get, and then you can equip 3 at a time. And
See, this sort of feeds into my other criticism that I heard, was that Xenoblade 2's systems sound really complicated.
Okay.
Like there's apparently tutorials like hours and hours into the game where they're like, here's the next
yeah, I just got one,
mechanic.
and I'm in chapter like friggin' 10, which is the last chapter actually. So here's the thing about the tutorials. So I just went to MagFest recently, as some of you may know. And while there, I got to talk to Shugga Conroy, who I know, and he is like the Xenoblade master. And because he LP'd the first game, and that was what actually got me into them. And I casually tweeted him before MagFest saying like, hey, he said something about Xenoblade, and I was like, ha, you should teach me how to play at MagFest because apparently I suck, haha. And he was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And so at MagFest, I got like a 30-40 minute tutorial from the Xenoblade master of how to play Xenoblade 2, which is pretty badass. I loved it. And yeah, he agreed with the problems with the tutorials because the main problem is you can never see them again. So if you forget how to do something, you're literally screwed.
Google.
Like me, who forgot how to do a number of things that he had to reteach me. And yeah, I agree, the battle system, not as intuitive as Xenoblade 1. It took me a while to learn, but now that I know, it makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like it takes a while to learn considering you have to play through the whole game to get through all the tutorials.
The thing is, they, like, add things like the whole, like what I just mentioned with like Nia becoming a blade, obviously she comes with a whole new set of abilities that they need to teach you. And apparently I just learned that if you equip both Nia and your main blade Pyra as blades, you can apparently have some kind of badass special attack that they decided not to tell me about through the entire game up into chapter 10. And I'm like, you didn't tell me this because why? But I'm not going to use it because I'm not going to use Nia as a blade. Nope. But yeah, you just kind of keep getting more stuff as the enemies get nigh on impossible to defeat. And then you'd obviously need more tutorial.
So these blade people,
Yes.
can they choose what kind of blade they'd be? Like, is there some that choose to be halberd, some two-handed, some like
No.
someone that chooses to be a pocket knife or something?
I don't
I'm
think they
confused on how
choose.
this works. The logistics
You
of
choose,
this.
I think. I think if there's any options, it's up to you, the player, to choose.
Are they
don't have
born
any
this
autonomy.
way? Like, what the? How
Yeah,
does
okay.
how does that
So,
work? The important stuff.
I actually know
Oh God.
because they clarify that in, I believe, chapter 8 or 9.
Chapter
Yeah.
8, verse 12
Yeah,
of
of
Xenoblade,
Xenoblade
the
lore.
Chronicles 2.
Basically, what
Thou
happens-
shalt only choose a weapon of thine own accord, and ne'er shall there ever be such a descent as this.
So, real quick summary of a blade's life. They're born from in their crystal form from titans, which are the land masses that people live on in the game, right? And their core crystals eventually make their way to the surface, where they're found and like purified, or some sketchy ritual that goes on in Indul. I still never really got that part. Anyway, moving on. Then people can bond with them. If you successfully resonate with your crystal, your blade comes out, and I don't think they
Of
get
wire.
to pick or anything. They're just kind of born.
What do you mean comes out? Exactly.
I mean, I don't really know. They never really show that part. But the crystal is like part of them. Like that's their life force, is their core crystal. Once they die, or like once their driver dies, actually, in battle, they return to their core crystal. And their core crystal turns black instead of blue, and eventually, it can be used again by a different driver, and when the blade reawakens, they have no memories of their past life. It kind of sucks. And
That's
then
kinda sad.
eventually, the blades return to the titan that they were born on and turn into a titan themselves. I'm not super clear on that part either. I kind of watched this cutscene at like 2 in the morning and got real confused. But yeah, and then they go on to produce more blades and blah blah blah, so on, circle of life, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's how blades work. You're welcome.
That was the short version.
That was the short
everyone.
version. The cutscene version was like 10 minutes, so be glad that I didn't subject you to that.
So,
Here's the super short version based on what I understood.
Okay.
A giant poops out a rock.
There's no pooping involved.
The rock becomes a crystal gem that is an amnesiac.
and thus Jerry, my trusty letter opener, has been born.
And
My trusty letter opener.
and then after they're done fighting people for a while, they also turn into a giant to poop more swords.
You guys are so
sword rocks.
mean.
Correction, Joe is mean.
If you
I'm just-
understood the sophisticated lore of Xenoblade.
The sophisticated lore of, hey look, it's a rock person.
I hate you. You're so mean.
How do you bond with a rock person who's never seen a person before? That's why this main character does it with so many.
Well, you don't even want to know what happens if the bonding fails.
Well, but like how? How do you fail? This rock has never
doesn't
met
like
a person
you.
before.
It's called
You're
a
not
rock
worthy.
slide, Joe.
How does it judge that?
I
It
don't
has
know.
no frame of reference.
Honestly,
It's
I
a
don't
rock.
really know.
Joe. Have you watched Fantastic Four?
Yeah,
You know the
There you
thing, the character? That's how you
Yeah,
do
like
it.
that.
But
Like
he
that.
wasn't always a rock. He turned
Joe,
into.
Do
He
you
got
want me to
turned
go
into
into
a rock.
cutscene library and just play it really close to my mic?
Oh,
No, I want to be blissfully ignorant so I can continue making fun of the fact that you have to make friends with a rock that apparently
Joe.
developed really high standards
That's
for someone who's
discrimination.
never spoken to a living being and is also a rock.
It's a crystal.
I never knew you were this discriminating, Joe.
I know.
Joe is
So mean to
roxist.
rocks. All right.
I'm
Do you
just
have
saying,
more
why are they
questions?
so picky? Why are they so picky is my question.
Because they
If I was
don't
a
want
rock-
inadequate people to be their drivers. Duh.
And they rock. And roll.
That too. They don't want a driver that's gonna kill
I'm
them
done.
immediately.
But how do they know? They're a rock. They have
They're
no life
afraid.
experience.
Covered this.
No, we haven't. I have not received a satisfactory explanation for this question. Don't pretend like we have.
Call up Sugar Conroy. He'll help me out here. He knows way more about this than I do.
Okay. Do you want a chance to say the things that you like about Xenoblade? Because I feel like I did really give you that opportunity.
Well, do you have more questions first that you want me to answer?
I have a bad feeling about
Let's
this.
get through that first.
There aren't. That's not necessarily questions that I want you to answer. I think
I
it
want
might
to
be
end
questions.
on the positive.
Well, I wasn't gonna ask any more questions. I mean,
Okay.
like, it wasn't gonna be anything more. Like, the other criticisms are just sort of like just this general uncomfortableness around, like, I don't know, the in a sense the way women in the game are like literally objectified into weapons.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Which is like, and
100%.
there's like there's like one uncomfortable scene where like a guy has like apparently, I guess, has a blade, like he hid like in the closet with like weird clothes for it to wear.
Oh,
and it's like, That's an
okay.
uncomfortable. That's
That-
just an if that can happen, that makes this whole situation really uncomfortable.
That's a little bit different, but yes. And that there are like the other blades, the other girl blades make many comments on how that is not appropriate, which I find hilarious.
And just like the general like thing of like a lot of them are wearing skimpy clothing.
Oh, all of the girl blades have skimpy clothing on, pretty much. Like that's just a
Yeah.
thing that you have
And
to
then,
expect
like-
from JRPGs. Like you have to
And,
go
like-
in knowing that that's gonna happen.
That unfortunately happens.
And it was the same.
a
In,
lot.
it was the same in Xenoblade 1. Like the girls had on skimpy clothes in Xenoblade 1, but probably not this bad. But I don't know. There's something about Xenoblade that is just insane to me. That it has so much lore and crazy stuff behind it, but yet it totally all works. And just the themes that run through the first game was the story is just really what drives it forward. I didn't think anything could get better than the first game's story, but this is pretty good. Like I'm invested, but I also just don't want it to end. And there's just so much to do, so much to explore. Like it's like Breath of the Wild was so huge because Monolith Soft worked on it, and it really shows that my qualm with Xenoblade is that I've been so used to using like quest markers like in Breath of the Wild. Xenoblade doesn't have those. I'm so annoyed. But I think it's a really easy shift over from Breath of the Wild to Xenoblade because a lot of the controls are the same, kinda. Like you have the same mini map in the corner. Like it really works that way. The interface just flows really well. And it looks like they're gonna keep adding new stuff to it based on the expansion pack deal that they've got going on. There's gonna be more blades, more story coming like this summer or something. And
This summer.
I'm so excited for more story. But I don't know. It's really hard to explain why I love Xenoblade so much to people. It really is. But it's got to be the story. Like the themes that it addresses, it just does such a great job of doing it. And the art is beautiful. Like all of the unique blades were designed by different artists this time, so like they all look special. And
Oh, I bet.
okay. The music, oh my god. I didn't think anything could get better than the first game's soundtrack, but then we hit the second game, and it's gorgeous. The voice acting is, it's, I don't want to say it's
Could be
good,
better.
because it's not always, but it's what we've come to know and love from the series. Like, if they did not keep it, like, with British accents, I was gonna be upset, and now everyone is, like, Scottish and Welsh, and I love that. It's perfect. I don't want it to end. Like, I'm so reluctant to finish the game because I just don't want to stop playing it. And that's the thing, too. You can keep going afterwards because there's, like, super bosses and there's going to be more quests, I'm sure. But it's just a magical experience playing it for the first time. I love it. Okay, I'm done amusing. I wish everyone else loved Xenoblade as much as I do.
Joe.
Have we successfully justified our mocking of it with your turn at singing its
I mean, I
praises?
can see
You
why you're
bounced out.
mocking it. Like, I do.
You mean you're mocking of it?
Yeah, Joe's mocking on it.
Yeah. Like, I understand why people it's just like any other JRPG. Like, people are gonna mock it for the objectification of women, which is just comes with the territory. Unfortunately, trust me. I mean, I'm not fine with it either, but you just gotta look past it for what the game is. And what the game is work of art, honestly. Definitely recommend it to everyone. Go play it, please. For me. Thank you.
For Diana specifically.
Yeah, and
she
then
gains more power every time someone plays Xenoblade 2 after her recommendation.
Yeah, honestly.
One day she will, in fact, turn into a giant monster that can poop out swords.
Oh my god.
And then she'll probably come murder me.
I'm so excited to see how it ends, but I don't want to see how it ends because I don't want it to end. I hope we get to see Shulk eventually. That's my theory.
The Incredible Shulk.
I'm really
But
feeling
if it's not swimsuit Shulk.
I'm really feeling it.
Oh, that's the other thing.
That's my secret.
Have we talked?
I'm always feeling it.
On your criticisms of the game, did you talk about the phrase that's become the new meme for Xenoblade 2? Like, I'm really feeling it, but for the second game?
Oh boy.
What is it?
Okay.
Meme-tastic.
So, when you get to, like, the second town of the game or so, you are with Nia, and you run into some soldiers who Nia's technically like a wanted criminal, so they try to arrest you, and you get in a fight with them. Now, these soldiers do not shut up through the whole fight, and all they yell is, "You done? Don't forget me." What's the other one? See here's a big one. You think you can take me? Is a big one. Like, and they do not shut up. And there's like 3 of them, so they all overlap each other. And literally, the first time I ran into that fight, I died because I was laughing too hard, and I couldn't fight. It's awful. And I heard in the patch that they took it out.
It was a successful strategy.
And I'm so sad. Like, but that's what at MagFest, Ted Conroy showed me. There's an island of just soldiers, and so I literally got like 10 of them on me, and just stood in the middle, and we just turned it up full blast in the middle of the hotel lobby, and just let them all yell, and it was awesome. But I heard he says that I haven't tried to go back to Soldier Island since the new patch update, and he says that they took it out, and I'm so sad. If that's true, but there's like a stream highlight of like someone playing it on day 1, and the chat just goes nuts. They're all just saying, "Think you could take me?" And of course, it's all in like a really heavy Scottish accent, so it's amazing. It's incredible. But so that's the meme for this game. Apparently, I think they've just taken out "Don't Forget Me." I think they've taken out "Don't Forget Me," which is probably fair because everyone thought that one was kind of weird. Why are you saying that? I don't know. I don't want to take up the whole podcast gushing about Xenoblade. Like, I mean, I have before, but
yeah, don't want to.
I mean, I could
Heavy
if you
quotation
want.
marks.
Jesus Christ.
Heavy quotation marks.
I could keep talking
But
about
fine.
how beautiful it is if you'd like. Like it's
We'll
really
let you
gorgeous.
make your tragic sacrifice, Diana, and
You're welcome.
move on to an email from Patrick Humphrey that we got last month.
Hey, better late than never.
Better late than never.
I missed one of the questions when we were going
How
through
dare
it.
you? Just
Well,
actually.
Look.
Fired.
Look. The life I tread is a difficult one. And yet, every day,
Objection.
Okay. You're all off the podcast. Okay, you're all off the podcast. It's just me.
Oh no!
Let me get my small violin.
So this is question 4 of his 6 questions. You can listen to the other 5 questions in the previous podcast, but question 4 that Patrick Humphrey asked us last time that we can talk about now. If you could portray any video game character in a game, movie, I guess like any video game character in a game, movie, show, or whatever, who would it be? So like a video game character in some medium, you get to portray them. What would you want to do?
That's a tough one.
how much effort would I have to put into acting? That's the question.
As much as you want. Like, you've got the
I have a
part,
lot.
apparently.
Do I have to limit it to one?
No. You're not going to, so why?
Good,
Whoa.
you know me.
But say, slow your roll there.
Who are you gonna play, Diana?
Okay, so I'm doing this based on I'm looking at the posters on my wall because that's a good indication of my favorite characters. I feel like that's fair. So would love to be Diva because I love her. The main character of Mystic Messenger because I could definitely pull her off, and that
A
would be
Mystic
super fun.
Messenger movie adaptation.
Oh, that would be great. Are you kidding me? That would be such a good movie. I would watch it. Speaking of, Mystic Messenger is getting a new route next week. Everyone hype. I know, right? Crazy. Probably, someone from Ace Attorney.
I'd be like, I just want to say that, like, for a while, like, you used Emma Skye, I think is her name,
Yeah.
as your like profile picture for everything, and so I would be really disappointed if you weren't Emma Skye because that's the picture of you that I had for a long time.
I was gonna say it's a toss-up between Emma and Maya, but it'd probably have to be Emma because I do just love her to pieces.
Question: if they were making an American Ace Attorney movie, like with an American cast, and you were contacted to play one of the roles, but
Okay.
it was Apollo Justice, and it was old Apollo Justice, like from the early games, not later Apollo Justice.
I was gonna say I could probably pull off Apollo Justice. Actually, you know what? Hell, yeah, I'll pull up Apollo.
I would 100% do it. I love Emma in that game.
Even if it's like the worst Apollo Justice, like from the very beginning, where everyone hated him.
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it because it would mean that if it got a lot of support, maybe they would make more movies. And also, the only disappointing part is that there's no Edgeworth in that movie. So, like, that's a crisis. Emma in that movie or Emma, like, in that game, and therefore in that movie, would be so much fun to play. Because she's just so grumpy all the time, and I love her. So that, and also maybe someone from Fire Emblem, because that would be pretty fun. Okay, I'm done.
I could probably pull off Apollo, personally.
Okay, you know what? New question. We're casting an Ace Attorney movie.
I knew it. I knew this would come.
Joe just muted, so I'm in charge of the podcast now.
Can you guys
No,
not,
Joe, you
every
shush.
single
You shush.
time
I'm in charge.
mute
No, he's
because I
back.
need
No,
to take care of
shush.
something.
Joe, shush. I'm in charge now. Ace Attorney movie.
You lost your
GameCola
privileges.
cast. Who are we casting? As who?
Excuse me.
Me as Phoenix and Apollo, and possibly
Okay.
everyone else that's not.
Everyone else? It's just me and John, actually.
Every other guy that's not a dick.
You'll be all the guys, and I'll be all the girls.
Beautiful.
Let's do it. All right, we're done.
Casting session done. We're
All
wrapping.
right, we can end the podcast now.
Filming tomorrow. Let's go.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Where's the script?
I'll send it to you.
She's getting no respect around here.
Only when I'm around.
Silent
Is this a
Joe.
surprise to you?
No, but see, here's the thing. When you're mean to me, everyone's on board. But when I'm mean to you, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. Everyone's like, hey, no, you're the one being mean. I'm not siding with you on this.
It's just the magic of being me.
It's
Poor
a double
Joe.
standard.
I like how nobody's denying that.
Nope. Okay, so everyone else answer the question now. Not my question, because we already answered that. What video game characters would you be in a movie or TV adaptation?
Mario, because I'm Italian.
Perfect.
That's all I got. Wahoo!
Perfect.
Are you
I don't
John?
know.
Are you secretly Mario in the new Mario movie that's maybe
Hey, I
getting
don't
made?
know what
maybe?
they're talking about with me. Okay, I'm done. That's terrible.
I think it's time we got another Mario movie.
Please.
I
One
want
that wasn't
I
bad.
want there to be a new Mario.
There's an
movie, but
animated
I want
one.
him to have.
They're
I want him.
DreamWorks is working on an animated one.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know how long in development though it is.
I'm-
but-
Yeah, I feel like it's
'cause,
not
like,
very
sometimes
far.
Well, I'm literally looking at a VHS copy of the original Mario movie,
No.
and I'm just saying anything will be better than that.
That's true.
I want the new Mario movie if it does like the real world Mario World thing, but which I don't think it will. But if it did, I want obviously Charles Martinet to voice Mario in the like video game world. But if there was a real
Yes.
world component, I want him to sound like in the cartoons where he's like, Hey, Luigi, we're gonna go save the Mushroom Kingdom, Luigi. When Mario just sounded like a gruff, like, middle-aged man for a while.
And made nothing
No.
but pasta puns.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Whatever happened to that Mario?
Nobody liked
Swing
him
your arms from side to side. Come on,
Hopefully
everyone, go
got,
do the
like-
Mario.
He was canceled
No.
for a reason. Nobody watched it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
reason.
How dare you say that to me? How dare you say that on one of the great shows of our time?
Oh,
The Super
God.
Mario Brothers Super Show.
No.
There was a Super Mario Brothers 3 show. They just skipped 2 and went straight to 3.
Yeah.
Because that's how much power it had. No
2
sense.
was weird. 2 was a dream. You can't have an entire TV show about a dream.
Yes, you can. Call it Inception.
I'm
You're
pretty
good.
sure there's been a show. I like that.
No, Inception was about several dreams. It wasn't just about one dream. Probably. Unless
Probably.
it was all a dream.
Alright, then call it Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's Nightmares. Boom.
No, but that wasn't all just one dream. You would
All
have to
right,
have
all
an
right.
entire movie that the whole thing was a dream. Like every single bit of the movie second, it was a
In
dream.
like G4. Rest in peace.
I still don't believe that is true, but I don't know what that is, so I can't really argue with you about it. But I'm just gonna
You're
pretend
in
that
the
you're still
video
wrong.
game industry. You don't know what G4 is or was?
Is G4 a movie?
No, it was a TV channel that was all about gaming.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. I know what that is.
Okay, Colee, what video game character would you play?
I'm gonna cheat a little bit
Okay.
because it's not so much a specific character as it is, like, I don't know. Not like a type of character, but like, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to be a Pokemon trainer. Just
Ooh.
because I am a huge Pokemon fan and I've always been enthralled with the Pokemon world. Like sometimes when I like daydream I'll think about like how like would it be if instead of like animals we had Pokemon, and instead of like going to do like an actual job, it's like, hey, your goal in life is to be a Pokemon trainer. Like that just always seemed like really super cool to me. So
That's
I would
awesome.
I would absolutely love if someone's like, hey, you want to play Pokemon yeah, let's do it.
I would do it too. That's a good role.
Yeah.
I want to be one of the people that just stands on the road all day aimlessly and waits for someone to come by.
Wait, you made eye contact with me. We must battle.
We must battle!
Do it.
Okay, I guess we can ask Joe.
I can ask myself. Thank you very much. I don't
I
need
asked
this
you first.
That
sass.
sounds
He
lovely.
doesn't enough.
Hey, Joseph, what video game character would you like to play in a TV or film adaptation? Well, Joseph, thanks for asking. I really appreciate
And that's
you
the end of the
being
podcast.
so polite with me
This is the average night at
Is
Joseph's
there a way to
house.
kick him out of the
and
call?
so kind to me all the times. Well, Joseph, it's really no trouble. It's no trouble to be nice to such a great person. Anyway,
I'm trying to find a way to
Joe.
kick him out of the call, and
Joe.
I can't find it.
Joe.
why don't you answer my question,
Joe.
Joseph? Well, I'd be glad to.
Joe,
If I were to play a video game character, probably something from Mega Man. Let's be
Joe?
honest. Like, let's not
Okay.
kid ourselves.
Joe, do you-
Like, no one expected anything different. Of course, I'd love to be Mega Man. I'd probably end up being Otto though, or maybe one of the Robot Masters.
Joe,
What?
do you need an adult?
I am an adult.
Do you need another adult?
Don't
No,
mute him.
both of us are here. Both adult Josephs are here having a pleasant conversation without you.
No,
Okay.
there is only one.
We're gonna
You
make
can
a
all mute him.
we're gonna
No,
make
oh, I
a
see your confusion.
we're gonna
No,
make
no,
a
I
separate
see your
voice
confusion.
channel just for you and the
We're-
other you.
No, we're just sharing a microphone. It's like when Stefano and Swimmin come on. You know, we're just both
Oh,
at this
jeez.
microphone. Right, Joseph? Yeah, that's right, Joseph.
You scare me.
Which one? Which one of us scares you?
Both of you.
God. Okay, so for those of you that don't have access to our Discord, which is all of you, probably just change their username to the other Joseph.
Don't be silly, Coley. There's only two Josephs. And they're both right here.
I'm gonna go back to Xenoblade.
Oh, like you ever left.
I actually did.
I don't believe
Oh,
you.
get called out.
Just so she can gush about it more.
Hey, Diana.
What?
Hey, Diana. What video games have you been playing in recent times? I think I might know the answer.
Lego Star Wars. That's my
Yes.
Well, I've been playing Xenoblade. Surprise, surprise.
You don't say.
I've also been playing a lot of Pocket Camp. The Animal Crossing
Yes.
one.
Pocket Camp is great.
I've been playing that. I've been playing Fire Emblem Heroes and my dress up game on my phone. I do those every morning before I start playing Xenoblade.
What's the name of the dress-up game?
Shannon wrote about it actually.
That's a very strange name for a video game. Shannon wrote about it, actually. The video game.
It's called Love Nikki Dress Up Queen, if you must know. And
I've heard about
Question.
that one.
I have a question.
It sounds like one of those
What?
Flash dress-up games you would find on the...
It basically is.
I have a question.
What?
No.
Is loving Nikki mandatory for this dress-up game?
I don't know. She's pretty cute.
I have no room in my soul for another.
But does she have personality?
No, not really. None of the characters really do.
And
She's yeah. I mean, there's a plot, like I put plot in quotation marks, because it's not really a good plot. It's just really funny to see the crazy outfits you could try and put together and get scored amazing amounts of points.
Sounds useless.
It honestly really is. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do.
Shame.
It's really stress relieving, ironically enough. Okay, that's all I've been playing, to be honest. Although I should be playing more Breath of the Wild because I got the DLC for that and I just haven't done it yet because it's Xenoblade.
What about you, Colee?
I have been playing Ever Oasis for 3DS. It is very fun. Basically, the gist of the game, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, the setting is in a desert, and there are these people who have the power to make oases, or oasi.
Sounds useful.
Whatever the plural is for that. And with a water spirit, the two can combine their powers to make an oasis, but this chaos has been threatening to get rid of all the oasi, whatever, and you are like the last hope after your brother's oasis gets destroyed by chaos, and so it is your job to have this oasis and get all these people to come in it and be happy and to vanquish chaos from the land. It's very cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
Is Chaos like a person? Or is like
or a thing.
an extra-dimensional force of antagonists?
Kind of both. I don't want to, like, go into, like, you know, spoilery stuff, but it's kind of like Chaos is kind of like this force.
Cool.
That eventually materializes.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
Are any of the Oasis people secretly mirages?
No.
Oh.
They're not.
Well, that's just not scientifically accurate. It's a well-known fact that 90% of oases are actually mirages.
Huh.
Haven't you seen the movies?
No.
Not that movie.
No.
In every movie, every oasis is not real. It's a mirage. A marriage.
A marriage.
No.
It's a marriage of a real idea and a fake thing.
Not a word.
A mirage.
Definitely not a word.
Yeah.
What was the other game you
And
were
then-
playing, Colee?
The other game, well, it's obviously, it's been out for a while. I have been playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire.
Oh.
Finally got around to getting to playing it because I never did, and now I did. I am most of the way through the game, and like Hoenn was one of my favorite gens of all time. So for me, I was like, I need to get Alpha Sapphire, and I'm so happy I did. I've been loving it. It's such a nostalgia factor going back. It's like, oh my god, like yes, Four Tree City is exactly how I remembered it, and I can still make a base, and it looks awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I've been very happy with the, graphics update and the whole Mega Evolutions thing, and it's been nice. I'm really glad that I decided to pick it up.
I always hated Fortree City.
Well, I always hated your opinion, so we're even.
Whoa!
There's like at least
too.
20 trees, though. There's not 4. 6 people that live in trees. Like, how did they even mess that up? It's very clearly more than 4 trees.
F-O-U-R as in Four Tree, though.
I thought it was.
Is it?
I thought it was, but I could very well be wrong.
I'm pretty sure I'm only ever in 1 tree at a time.
Okay.
Maybe 2
It's
on a good day.
F-O-R-T-R-E-E. So
Oh,
not
it's just
4
4
as in
trees.
number
The city's
4.
4 trees.
Yeah, it's 4 tree. Yeah.
Ah, take that,
It's
Joe.
not a city for trees, it's a city for people.
It was 4 trees first before the people got there.
Absolutely
Exactly.
true.
There were already people there, though.
No.
Are you trying to tell me that all the people in Portray City are secretly trees?
No.
No,
No
it's
one
called
is trying to tell you
deforestation.
that.
No, there's swords. We've been over this.
There's Joe, literally no one is trying to tell you that the people are trees. You made that up all on your own.
I just heard you say the words, the people are trees.
Joe,
No.
other
No
Joe,
one
would you
said
both
that.
calm down?
Yeah, no, Diana just said the people are trees. She said
No.
those words. Other words were around them, but
Yeah,
she did
okay.
say those words.
I was like, I did not say that, actually.
I'm going to
But-
play it back right now. You just did. Here it is.
God.
Ding.
The people are trees.
Yep, there she did. That's when she said it.
This
She's
court
gonna
does not
edit
validate the submission of this evidence.
Yeah. Stupid.
Overruled. I have absolute power. I don't think you guys understand.
Are we sure we can't kick him out of the call somehow?
I mean, I probably can because I am a mod.
Ooh, kick him out.
Is it? It's so it's mutiny
I
then.
think I can
I
kick
can
him.
mute him.
Do it.
Don't you dare.
Do it.
Don't you dare.
Coley, do it. Coley, do it.
You're all off the
man.
podcast. If you kick me off the podcast, and then where will we be?
Coley, he's been being mean to us the whole time. None of us will be off the podcast. It would be you.
Oh, I'll just do the podcast
Podcastception.
all by myself.
No, it wouldn't be by yourself. You'd have other Joe with you. It would be Joe and other Joe at Joe o'clock.
Same Joe time, same Joe
I
channel.
was just about to say that.
Same Joe place.
Same Joe joke.
Uh,
And he's gone.
he
We
muted.
drove him
He's
away.
gone again.
Yeah.
Quick. What should we talk about this time? So Xenoblade is awesome. So Xenoblade is awesome. I am walking around a desert, and it's really cool. It's kind of like Ever Oasis, but not because there's no Oasis here.
Riveting.
It sucks. I know.
Oh, we could talk about Kirby.
We could talk about Kirby.
If anyone's interested.
Has any more
I love
been
Kirby.
released about it since the last podcast?
I haven't played a Kirby game in a long time.
Neither have I, but I'm more than willing to talk about it. Things that I
There
don't know about.
there was a Nintendo mini direct not too long ago that showcased
about
a
the
little
Kirby?
bit more.
Oh,
It had Kirby in it. It showcased a bit of Kirby Star Allies, and we have an official release date.
oh, what is that again?
Official
like-
release date for Kirby
Yes.
is March 16th.
There's this big building in front of me, and I just know it's the building that I'm supposed to go to, and I don't want to go to it. So I'm just
Punch
going
it.
to walk around it instead.
How about stop playing the game or record a podcast?
Clearly we're not doing anything right now.
Oh, if only
'Cause
we had
Joe
a,
is
if
gone.
only we had a leader,
I know.
a podcast master per se.
Oh shoot, I accidentally triggered a
Did
cutscene.
someone say they needed a
Oh, quick,
podcast
kick
leader?
Who said
You
that?
guys are obviously so
We
lost.
talked about
without
Kirby
me.
while you were gone.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
John, what video games have you
I've
been
been-
playing in recent times? See, this is what I do. I provide a valuable service where I ask people questions and then I interrupt them before they can
You
answer
did him.
with my jokes. It's incredibly important to the saving of this
Rip.
podcast structure. Jonathan, what
First
video
off,
games
my
have you
name
been
is not
playing?
Jonathan. It's literally just John. Second of all, I've been playing quite a number of games actually. Just the other night, my roommates and I played Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the first time in a long while,
Wow.
and I
Throwback.
realized how little the achievements I unlocked.
Did you win?
A couple, not all of them, but I literally just went into the stage builder today, and I made a little cube stage, which is a closed off cube. You spawn in there, and there's one hole, and so one hole that you can be blasted out of. So what I did was I set the special match rules to sudden death damage, heavy gravity, and high speed, and added in 4 players in there and let the chaos ensue. As you see everyone
Wow.
bouncing around, trying to get them through this one hole. Put on like maybe three stock lives, and the matches last like 20 minutes, and it's insane. So yeah, that's one. I also I've been playing. Actually, I haven't played it since it came out. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney: Spirit of Justice has just been ported to iOS App Store, and
It has.
and I've been playing it because it is much cheaper on the App Store than it is on the 3DS eShop. And I've been really enjoying it, actually. Case 1 is really interesting. Case 2 is actually one of my favorites since in the entire series for a long time. Case 3 is filler as always. and then
Yeah.
oh no,
Wait
that
till
was
case 5, man.
Wait, no, case 4 was actually the filler one. Case 3 was the other one. Was when the reunion with Maya.
Yeah.
Case 5
What was?
Case 5 I have not finished yet because I got past the trial against Phoenix, and then I left on the cliffhanger, and then afterwards I accidentally read a spoiler, and then I just lost motivation to play some more.
Oh no! Did you get the huge thing spoiled?
Yeah, I believe I did.
That's bad.
Yeah, so
that's a huge reveal.
Yeah, no, then I'll go back to it sometime, but I'm just like, damn it, why did I read that?
I know. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is.
Ugh. Oh, yesterday I played the Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, which is based off the struggling film franchise starring Vin Diesel. Who actually provided his voice and likeness for the game, which is pretty cool. Which is stupid because one of my roommates says he looks nothing like Vin Diesel, and he looks like 80% like him. The only thing that's different is the nose, which it's funny because Vin Diesel has a big nose in like real life, but the game also knows that, so it tries to exaggerate that, so it's like twice as wide as it normally is, which is weird. But the game's pretty fun though. Like personally, it's like a combination of stealth and it's really hard though. There's literally a checkpoint like every 10 feet because of how hard it is. It's like as little progress as you make, it's still progress. But yeah, it has a cool like mechanic where you go around a prison and ask them, hey, can give you a pack of cigarettes for a knife or something like that, and you basically just go from this person to this person and exchange everything and see how you can escape, which is pretty cool. And that's what I've been playing recently. Shazam. Joe?
I play Mario Odyssey again.
Still?
God damn it.
Nice.
Just because I am the podcast commander of a video game podcast, you expect me to play video games? Like, come on.
Oh wait,
what kind of weird expectation is that to have?
That also reminds me, I've been playing Danganronpa with James, which will be a Let's Play series soon. I will upload the first episode as soon as I'm done editing.
So that's our show for today. So thank you for listening and sticking with us through to the very end, and sticking around through my tyrannical rampage. If you liked what you heard about the GameCola Podcast, you can check us out on our actual internet website, GameCola.net, where you can find other podcasts and also read articles about latest game news and the games reviews of the games we've been playing, blog posts about what we like about games, and columns about also what we like about games. If you are interested in more media-based content, you could check out GCDotNet, our YouTube channel, the letter G, the letter C, the word dot, and the word net. If you'd like to get in contact with us quickly, you can always poke us at our social medias, Facebook and Twitter. Just search GameCola and you'll find us. It's the one with the little G guy in the user icon. The profile picture, that's what it's called. If you like listening to the podcast, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, or you could share the iTunes link with a friend. Maybe share this podcast with a friend who wants to know more about Nintendo Labo. Hey. If they have a wrong opinion about it, maybe you can show them this and they'll have a right opinion about it. Because that's how opinions work, right, everyone?
Absolutely.
Right, everyone. Okay.
Sure.
Also, if you'd like to get in contact with us and have a question read on the podcast, you can email us at podcast@gamecola.net, and we will do just that. We'll read your question on the podcast. I think that's everything. So, thank you again for listening. Have a wonderful day, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. And we will see you next month. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So much to do, so much to see.
Huh?
So what's wrong with taking the back streets?
Ignore.
Get the hell out of here.
Get out.
You can't kick me off my own podcast.
Hello, mute button. Nice to see you again.
We could vote.